This is London.
These are dangerous days.
Okay, fans, time now for the matchup that I personally have been most looking forward to here at Legends Showdown 2. Johnny Saint versus Danny Bollins. A matchup that runs the spectrum of the world of sport era of British wrestling. Johnny Saint, of course, has been wrestling now for over 5 decades, believe it or not. And Danny Bollins, a young man still only 42 years of age, who was just starting to make a big wave in British wrestling when the world of sport was sadly taken off the air in the late 1980s. And it'll be interesting to see Danny Bollins now, who has recently returned from retirement to once again wrestle professionally. And Johnny Saint, of course, as we all saw last year at the inaugural Legends Showdown event, came out of retirement for a technical masterclass against Johnny Kidd. And there he is, Danny Bollins. Take a look at that man there. He is in absolutely phenomenal shape. But of course, as we have learned from watching wrestling week in and week out, it doesn't matter how big you are or how strong you are. When you are in there with a man like Johnny Saint, it is all about technique. It is all about moves. It is all about grappling skill. And this is going to be a great match, a great test for Bollins, a great test for Johnny Saint, and a great treat for all the fans here.
Contest is made over a 30-minute time limit, with 6 5-minute rounds, 2 falls, 2 submissions, or a knockout to decide the winner. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first on my right hand, coming out of the red corner, he hails from Bristol. He made his professional wrestling debut in September 1983. He's the former British heavy middleweight champion and the former world middleweight champion. Please welcome Danny Bollins. Ladies and gentlemen, here is opponent. On my left, coming out of the blue corner, hails from Rhyl in North Wales. He returned to the wrestling ring at Legends Showdown last year after a 10-year absence. He's a former British, European and 10-time lightweight champion of the world, the man of 1,000 holds, the legendary Johnny Saint. And ladies and gentlemen, your referee for this contest, former wrestling great from Chelmsford. Please welcome Bob Anthony.
And just look at the caliber of talent in this ring. Bob Anthony, the referee himself, a former wrestling great. Johnny Saint, arguably the greatest wrestler this country has ever produced. And Danny Bollins, one of the top young talents in the sport. A handshake, a smile on the face. And the referee calling for the bell. And we are ready to go. Round 1, 6 5-minute rounds. 2 pinfalls, 2 submissions, or 1 knockout will decide this matchup. And as we saw last year, Johnny Saint, coming out of a 10-year retirement, had literally not lost a step in the ring. Still looks to be in fantastic shape. And Danny Bollins himself in phenomenal condition as well. And if I know these 2 men at all, I suspect this will be an absolute masterclass in the sport of British wrestling. Coollins with the wrist lock now. If anyone knows a way out of it, it'll be Johnny Saint. Saint says no. Oh, and there it is already, a classic Johnny Saint reversal. Fantastic. And let us not forget, Johnny Saint has not been idle in the last year at all. He has wrestled John Ritchie on a number of occasions. He famously visited the LDN training school to pass on the benefit of his wisdom. And he has wrestled up and down the country and throughout Europe as well. Famously wrestling recently in Germany. Johnny Saint has caught the bug well and truly once again. Former 10-time light heavyweight champion of the world. And that is exactly why, right there. Coollins himself, a former middle heavyweight champion of both Britain and the world. And what a feather in the cap of Danny Coollins it would be to score a win here tonight at Legends Showdown 2. Johnny Saint, of course, famed for his innovative and unique counters. Johnny Saint, famously known as the man of 1,000 holds, could just as easily be known as the man of 1,000 reversals. And take a look again at the smile on both men's faces. They are just enjoying the pure competition of this matchup. And as they shook hands to start the match, I believe they said, may the best man win. And I think that is what we will see here tonight. Saint with that right arm of Danny Coollins trapped. And Danny Coollins taking a page out of Johnny Saint's book there. Using the rope to reverse the hold. Bringing Johnny Saint down to the mat. And again, are we about to see it? Another classic Johnny Saint counter. Into a leg grapevine around the head, of leg scissors, excuse me. Coollins looking to bridge out of it. Certainly got to avoid the shoulders being pinned. And this is just round one. Unbelievable. Danny Coollins, I think, looking for the Johnny Saint headstand. And again, Danny Coollins thoroughly enjoying wrestling a man who has been a great inspiration to him throughout his professional career. Almost a teacher versus student matchup. But that would be selling Danny Coollins short. Great athleticism from Coollins. And Johnny Saint still on his feet. And the bell rings, and the end of round one. The score still 0-0. The two wrestlers return to their cornermen. Alan Lee Travis, you see there, the LDN TV champion in the corner of Johnny Saint. And no rest for the wicked. Round two already. And fans, you are witnessing the very best wrestling match this country has got to offer today, for my money. Snapmare takedown there from Johnny Saint. Pulling back on those shoulder joints, applying pressure to the neck. And Johnny Saint, I think, looking for a pinfall there. Rolls him through. The shoulders are down. And again, another 2 count there. And Coollins, I think, just too strong. And that is where the muscles come into play. Wrestling doesn't need to be about weightlifting. It needs to be about skill and technique. And you will not find 2 greater exponents than these 2 men here. Saint says no, but I wonder how long he can hold on. He won't forgive me for saying he's not in the first flush of youth. But we saw him go the distance with Johnny Kidd last year. And another classic Saint counter, nicely done. Right into that hammerlock. And that brought Danny Coollins straight down to the mat. A very painful maneuver indeed, the hammerlock. Basic, but when applied correctly, can be devastating. Saint on top, Danny Coollins struggling to keep that shoulder up. And the referee says the left shoulder is just marginally off the canvas. Coollins bridging up. Phenomenal upper body strength. And my goodness, what a display of pure power we are seeing. Absolutely remarkable display by Danny Coollins. Oh, and a backslide. The arms are hooked and the shoulders are down. And in round 2, we very nearly saw Danny Coollins go 1-fall up against Johnny Saint. That backslide really came out of nowhere. Certainly caught me off guard, but Johnny Saint, 1 step ahead as always. Going now for that abdominal stretch. And you can see he's leaning into the ribs of Danny Coollins, just trying to put as much pressure on the body of Coollins as he possibly can.
Come on, Danny.
More unique and innovative offense there from Johnny Saint. And a clean break as well. And the 2 men right back at it. They lock up again, and Johnny Saint with a modified backbreaker there, putting a lot of pressure on the lower spinal region of Danny Coollins. And you can see as well his neck absolutely strained to the limit. It's all about twisting and manipulating joints, and also about outthinking your opponent and staying 1 step ahead. What a combo there from Johnny Saint. Coollins just cannot keep up, and I can barely keep up. A roll up, and the shoulders are down, and Coollins scurrying away there. The speed of Johnny Saint never fails to astound me. And Coollins has got to be wondering what it's going to take to put the old man away. Now the fans really getting into this matchup. They cannot wait to see who will score the first fall. Oh, nicely done there, Danny Coollins. The shoulders are down, but it's... No, they're not. The Johnny Saint ball, and right on the bell as well. 2 rounds into this matchup, and still, oh, just testing just testing each other, the young lion and the old master. And you see there Jason Sensation, the corner man for Danny Collins as well. And that is why LDN, one of the top promotions, in the top promotion in the United Kingdom today, they are taking the sport to a new level. We are seeing the best of yesterday, and we have already seen the very best of today. And our wrestlers always seeking to improve. Alan Travis jumped at the chance to be a cornerman for Johnny Saint, as did Jason Sensation for Danny Collins. They wanted to get up close and personal to two of the finest technicians this country has ever seen. A real learning experience for these two young men. And much like you and me, they have got the best seat in the house. Saint just twisting that ankle back, possibly looking for a bow and arrow-like maneuver. I think he's going to go for it. Are we going to see the surfboard? Pulling back the left arm, Collins flailing for that bottom rope, but he couldn't reach it in time, and Johnny Saint, I think, is going to fall back, and we are going to see the surfboard. Can he get him over? Either way, certainly a very painful move there for Danny Collins, but Saint says no, he's not ready. He's too strong. And that is almost a leitmotif in this matchup. Johnny Saint just not quite strong enough for Danny Collins. So he goes back to what he knows best. A bridge, the shoulders are down, and that has to be all. There it is, the first fall of round 3 goes to Johnny Saint, and Danny Collins can't believe it. And Johnny Saint had to work hard for that one, you can see.
Round 3, first fall of the contest to Johnny Saint.
So Johnny Saint goes up a fall. Take a look at this. Unbelievable agility for a man of his age. Just bends him in half. The shoulders are down. Referee Bob Anthony goes underneath. And Saint gets a pinfall, and a nice handshake there as well from Danny Collins. Certainly no hard feelings between these two men. And don't get me wrong, the matchup is far from over as well. 6 5-minute rounds, 2 falls, 2 submissions, or a knockout to decide. Saint 1 fall up. But there are still 3 rounds to go. And Saint, I think, knows he'd like to finish this one quickly if he can. And likewise, Collins knows he needs to equalise quickly if he is going to stand a chance to defeat the master. Still the smile on both men's faces. They are enjoying testing each other. They are pushing each other to the very limit of their capabilities. And every single fan in attendance is having a fantastic time. And Johnny Saint, I believe, going for the submission. We have seen him cause a number of young stars to submit here in LDN, but not Danny Collins. Not with that maneuver, at least. Ooh, boot to the back of the head, and that must have stung. Collins comes off the middle rope, gets caught with a takedown from Saint. Leapfrog. And Collins walked into that one, or did he? He equalises in round 4. Danny Collins absorbing the knowledge passed on to him from Johnny Saint like a sponge. That cover, almost a mirror image of the cover made by Johnny Saint in the last round. Take a look at that, hooking the legs with his own legs. Nowhere for Saint to go. And just minutes after Johnny Saint went 1 fall up, Collins levels the score. 2 rounds to go, the score 1 fall apiece. The bell rings and round 5 now underway. And I suspect this one might have just got a little bit more serious. Coollins desperate to keep those shoulders off the mat. And reverses. And Saint did not see that one coming. He's got to be impressed by the display shown there by Danny Coollins, but he's also going to be thinking of a way out of it. And you can bet he knows 5 or 6. Saint, I think, knows he's not strong enough to outpower Danny Coollins, so he's got to look for another way out. He's got to use leverage. And take a look at that, just pivoting his body, just trying to find an angle. And that's one way of doing it. That is one way of doing it. And that is how he made his living. That is how he made his name, not just in England, but around the world. And that is a fast count there from referee Bob Anthony. And both men struggle to beat 9. Saint whipping Coollins across the ring. Meets him with a headbutt to the sternum by the looks of things. Coollins looking for a double leg Nelson, and the shoulders are hooked. And I thought we had a winner in round 5, but Saint somehow able to kick out. Nice cartwheel there from Johnny Saint. Comes off the ropes, twists around the legs, but Coollins is on top. He's got the legs hooked, and he's got it. In round 5, Danny Coollins defeats Johnny Saint 2 falls to 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, in round 5, the winner of the match fight, 2 falls to 1, Danny Coollins.
Take a look at this. Johnny Saint, I thought, going for the cover, but he left himself wide open. Danny Coollins held the legs, hooked them down, pinned the shoulders, and in 5 rounds, Danny Coollins defeats Johnny Saint 2 falls to 1 in what, for my money, is one of the best matches I have seen in a British wrestling ring this year.